You don't need more productivity hacks. You need to understand why you keep putting things off, because 99% of the time, it's not laziness, it's actually protection. Procrastination is your brain's way of keeping you safe from judgment, from failure, or from any kind of discomfort. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to figure out what you're really avoiding and how to get back into action without forcing it. Whether it's starting your business, asking for a raise, posting your first video, or just sending an uncomfortable email. We all procrastinate. But the real question is, what are you protecting yourself from by not doing it? And how do we break the loop and get the things done that move us forward? That's what I'm going to walk you through in this video. Why your brain uses procrastination to feel safe, how self-trust gets broken and how we can rebuild it, real-world examples, including my own, and steps to move forward even when you don't feel ready. Procrastination isn't about laziness. It's a survival mechanism. We tell ourselves, I need to plan more, I'm too busy, I don't want to get it wrong. But that's just your brain trying to avoid an emotional threat. I was working with a client recently on her business, and she kept telling me how much she needed to change her approach and revisit the strategy. But when I looked at her metrics, her sales process was actually converting really well. She just didn't do enough volume to bring in the revenue that she wanted. Literally, all she had to do was have more conversations with leads, but she just wouldn't. And she wasn't being lazy. She wanted to get results, but her brain was doing a very good job of trying to protect her at all costs, subconsciously, of course, which externally turns into procrastination. When mentally you just start creating all the reasons as to why you just can't do the thing. And if you're facing this, it's because there's often a hidden fear behind what we say we want to do. Now, when I was first starting my business, I used to redo my branding and my website over and over and over again. And I'd spend hours just moving one sentence, changing one word, adjusting the font, and I convinced myself that it was being productive. But what was I really doing? I was avoiding launching, because if I launched and no one bought, that meant that I had failed. So I delayed. I wasn't lazy, I was just scared. Here's the truth. Every time we procrastinate, it's because our brain is protecting us from a perceived threat. So I want you to ask yourself, what would doing this thing really mean? My therapist calls this a disaster fantasy. What's the terrible scenario that you're replaying in your mind that you think will happen just by doing the thing? So some examples here. You don't send the message because you're scared that someone might think that you're annoying. Or you don't post because you think that someone from high school might see it and maybe judge it. You don't launch the business because someone might ask you, hey, how's it going? And you won't know how to answer. These aren't time issues, they're actually fear issues. And the longer we avoid doing the thing, the heavier it actually becomes. What we resist persists, and it grows heavier every time we hide from it. Now, this is where things really spiral. Procrastination breaks our trust in ourselves. You tell yourself, I'm gonna film that video, and you don't. I'm gonna go and send 10 messages to prospective clients, and you scroll instead. Every time that happens, a part of you thinks, I can't rely on me, which is true. And that creates a loop. You say that you're gonna do something, you avoid doing it, you feel guilty for not doing it, you beat yourself up because you know what's happening, and overall you stop trusting your word. And eventually it's not just the task that you're avoiding, it's you that you're actually doubting. I don't believe myself anymore. So how do we fix that? We don't rebuild trust through massive promises. We rebuild it with small daily reps. So open the document and don't write a whole chapter or promise to yourself that you even will. Just record one messy voice note, not a polished video. Message one lead, maybe not 50. You build trust with micro integrity. You keep your word in the smallest ways until your nervous system believes you again. And I've had to do this too. In my 20s, I was making decisions that were much more emotional versus logical. And what that meant is that when something didn't feel good, it was so hard to get it done. And in some areas of my life, I ended up in this loop. And I actually remember Googling at one point how to love myself more, because I knew I needed to, and I knew I didn't feel good about myself, and I wanted to feel better, but none of the affirmations and the journaling and all the things it recommended worked, until I decided that I was sick of my own bullshit and that I wasn't going to avoid things out of emotion anymore. Because the paradox is, we avoid things short-term to feel better, which long-term makes us feel so much worse. Think about it like this. If a friend lied to us every day, they wouldn't be our friend very long. So you've got to start making and keeping small promises to yourself and earn back your own trust. And over time, you start learning, holy shit, I can do hard things. And that's when your confidence grows. And then you tackle bigger and bigger challenges. Then you're the person worthy of achieving the results, and you're taking actions in line with them. But the even cooler part is this. Not only do you get results, but you also start to truly love yourself. And for me, this changed everything. Now, I'm far from perfect, but I'm no longer Googling how to love myself more, because I stopped breaking my own word and my own trust with myself, started doing harder things, and ultimately, I became someone that I respect. Now you might be like, Amy, yeah, this all sounds great, but I'm still freaking terrified. And I get it. I'm someone that's moving toward the biggest goal I ever have, building a 9-figure software company, something I've never done before, and it's requiring me to step into the new and unknown areas all the time. And I'd be lying to say that it doesn't invoke fear from time to time. But here's the thing. We're not going to pretend that the fear isn't there. We're just going to learn to walk with it. And in entrepreneurship, you're never going to feel 100% ready. There's no blueprint that guarantees success 100% of the time. But you can create something much stronger than certainty: internal safety. Now, safety isn't the absence of challenge, it's the presence of self-trust. And it sounds like this: I don't know the answer, but I trust that I'm going to figure it out. This feels scary, but I know I can handle scary. Even if this doesn't go as planned, I will adapt. Real power comes from knowing that you will respond, not perfectly, but resourcefully. Now, let me give you a personal example. When I first started building MemberUp, I felt extremely confident with digital products and online education businesses, being that I'd done over 10 million in sales there. But software was a whole new beast. The stakes were so much higher, and I have a lot of responsibility being the CEO of the company. And in many ways, I felt like a complete newbie again. But despite that, the one thing that gave me the confidence to back myself, to invest over 7 figures with my co-founders and bring a team together and actually build, was my ability to figure things out. That's what kept me going. Not strategy, not funding, just the belief that I can do this, I can navigate this. I know how to problem solve, and I cannot fail if I do not quit. You build that by doing hard things, one tiny moment at a time. So let's make this simple. Step 1, notice the pattern. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding right now? Step 2 is identify the emotion. Fear of failure, is it shame, exposure? Name it out loud. Step 3, normalize it. Of course you're scared. It means it matters, and it means that you care. Step 4, take a micro action. The tiniest one that you can commit to today. Not big, not massive, not impressive, just real. Step 5, track your wins. Every time you follow through on one of those promises, document it. Literally journal it, screenshot it, say it out loud. I don't care. Just make it known. Because you're training your nervous system to believe, I do what I say I'm going to do. And over time, that becomes your identity. You stop being someone who tries and you become someone who does, who follows through. Let me leave you with this. Procrastination is not the enemy. It's just a red flag from your nervous system that something doesn't feel safe. But I guarantee you that those big goals that you have, they are going to require you to step into places that don't feel safe. So instead of judging it, learn from it. Use it as a doorway back into your own self-awareness. And remember, safety, self-trust, and momentum don't start with these massive breakthroughs. They start with just showing up anyway. You don't need to feel fearless. You just have to feel the fear and do the damn thing anyway. So let's build that version of you, the one who moves even when it's scary, even when it's messy, and even when you don't know how to do every little step on the journey, but trust that you'll figure it out anyway. Now, if this resonated with you, comment below the one thing that you've been putting off and what's your next micro action today. And if you want more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed. We dive deep into mindset, business, and finance each video. Now, go do the damn thing. I'm rooting for you.